Hi, my name is Mike Adam. I am racing the 50 plus expert class, and I race for Leroy's Bike Works out of Lakeland, Florida.
Hi, I'm Caloosahatchee Adam. I'm an elite racer for the XCO. I live in Lakeland, Florida.
Everything in life worthwhile requires discipline, drive, and determination. Not giving your all, quitting, and giving up is simply not an option. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter, brought to you by yours truly, Bob McCarty. Today, another packed episode today. I've got the results from Alva last weekend, Caloosahatchee Regional Park, Florida State Championship Series number 7, and Coconut Cup Series Round 3. An amazing interview with Mike and Caleb Adam, a full lap of Caloosahatchee Regional Park, race course that we just had to do this past weekend. Of course, the segment I love the most, Woulda Racing. Man, this one never gets old to me, and I would think it's going to catch on. Hasn't yet. So we got some good Woulda Racing from Alva the past weekend, as well as what can you expect from 2 weekends from now in Amelia Earhart Park for Coconut Cup Series Round 4 and the Florida State Championship Series Makeup time trial on Saturday, cross country on Sunday. And as always, thank you to my sponsors and thank you guys for supporting them. Orchis Technologies, leader in worldwide telecommunications. ESI grips are, they're just test them. Just use them. I guarantee you're not going to try anything else. Cycling, yucycling.com. Amazing clothing. Check out their website. Don't forget ESI and Cycling. Use that discount code HLS2025 to get yourself 20% off site-wide. MASH Mobile Vet. Once again, every week I tell you guys this. It is stressful for the animals. It's stressful for you. MASH Mobile Vet will bring an entire animal hospital right to your front door. MASHmobilevet.com. POC helmets. Can't go wrong with a POC helmet. NV wheels. Check out those NV wheels that are on my race bike, that black bike. If you ever see it at the race course, check it out. Hell, if you want to take it for a test ride, I might let you do it. Pirelli tires. Had a great conversation with somebody this weekend over in Alva, and they told me that how happy they were with using that new Pirelli M tire race compound, new rubber compound, but the M tread pattern, they were absolutely in love with the tire. So thank you for supporting Pirelli and testing that particular tire out. And of course, Absolute Black oval chain rings. Hopefully you've had the ability to try one out. If not, give oval a shot. Absolute Black, absoluteblack.com. Amazing chain rings. They've got a whole host of other product in there too. So once again, don't forget about using my discount code HLS2025 to get yourself 20% off site-wide at ESI Grips and Cycling. All right. Oh man. everything in life worthwhile requires discipline, drive, and determination. Not giving your all, quitting, and giving up is simply not an option. This sport hurts, but I guarantee you it hurts more when you've given up. I guarantee you it hurts more when you haven't given it your all. And by far, this sport really hurts when you quit. Discipline, drive, and determination. The 3 Ds. Put those in your head, live it, breathe it every day. You can't go wrong. This past weekend, we were over at Caloosahatchee Regional Park in Alva for Florida State Championship Series Round 7 and Coconut Cup Series Round 3. Much like San Falasco, this course had a long loop and a short loop. All the expert classes, including mine, the old experts, we had to do 2.5 laps, so 2 full laps. Each lap was about 10 miles, and then the short lap was somewhere around 5, just under 5. So all the experts had to do 25 miles. Sports had to do 2 laps. Base had to do 1.5, and then novice had to do 1 lap. As far as the results, those experts and those elites or those elite categories, absolutely flying. I don't get it. I think back in my day, I wasn't going as fast as these guys, but man, they are absolutely flying out there. Ryan wound up picking up another win in the 19 to 39-year-old category, as well as getting the win in the elite category. Had a sprint finish with Jonathan, and he wound up getting the best of him. There was a long fire road towards the sprint, where at the end we hung a left-hand turn. Ryan was sitting second wheel, wind up jumping Jonathan just before the finish, where we hung a left, and he got the W on the day. 38-minute lap, his first lap, 37-minute, not much into the negative, but a little over 38 on the first lap, right around 37 minutes on the second lap, and then his short loop, 14 minutes, 13:57, 14 minutes. I tell you, Ryan was flying out there. So were the other guys. Ryan is staying in the leader's jersey, as well as Darla Woodall, both of them in the leader's jersey once again. Darla, I believe, got the win in her category also. So the XC1 expert men, Ryan got first, Jonathan got second, Jack picked himself up a third, Jacob got fourth, and Ashton got himself a fifth. Honorable mention here to Caleb. Caleb wound up getting 8th on that day. You'll get a chance to hear his interview in a bit. Amazing, amazing young man. Just 18 years old, putting himself into this elite category as a rookie, and is doing a great job this year. XC1, again, these are all the XC1 categories. In the 40 plus, Eric picked himself up a win over Gilberto. Antonio got second and got third. Julio got himself a fourth. I believe this might be Eric's first win in that category. Pretty dominating too. He actually was about a minute and a half over Gilberto. Looks like Gilberto and Antonio wound up having a sprint finish together. Gilberto got the best of him with that one. Actually, Gilberto, Antonio, and Julio all together, all of them finished within one. Nope, I'm sorry. They wound up finishing 1 minute apart from each other. 1 hour, 37 minutes and 1 hour and 39 minutes there. Expert 50 plus, I got the win in that category. Mark got a second and Mike got a third. Hope you enjoy the interview with Mike. Talks a little bit about this race last weekend. Sport XC2 category, Mark Delabertis got the win. Benny got second. Juan got himself a third. Rodrigo fourth. Adrian got fifth. In the 40 plus category, Doug got himself a win. In the 50 plus category, Saul got the win in that for the Sport 50 plus. 60 plus, Troy Zimmerman got the win there. Expert woman, like I said, Darla Woodall wound up getting a win there. Urani got second, and Erica got third. Interesting topic came up last weekend with Alva. Alva has, put it up in the video, Alva has some mounds. After the start, you go over some mounds out in the field. You have the opportunity to go around the mounds. We've had issues in the past with people getting past, jumping around them, not view the mound as taking the obstacle. In past, people haven't taken the obstacle and wound up passing somebody. So, Gone Riding, or Dave the promoter, made sure that to tell everybody that the mounds were in. You have to ride the mounds. You have to ride the single track. You cannot avoid the mounds. In the event that you do, there was going to be a time penalty. In this case, in the women expert, Urani and Erica both got a 1-minute penalty, apparently for avoiding the mounds. Riders' meetings, pretty important to learn these rules to make sure that you follow them. Was it inconvenient? Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was pretty hard on that hole shot to get to the mounds, but it was a part of racing and it was communicated properly from Dave. Don't avoid them or there's going to be a time penalty, and there clearly was a time penalty here. If I'm not mistaken, Urania actually beat Darla, but then had that time penalty put in, and Darla wound up getting the win. So, like I said earlier, her and Ryan are still in those leaders' jersey. After round 7, we got one more round 8, the final up in Santos. Looks like the two of them are going to be able to pull it off. They have a pretty good lead in their points. Sport women, Lauren got herself the win in the base category. J-Ro got the win in the young 40 plus Wooter. I don't know if that's correct or not. Got the win in the 40 plus, 50 plus. Ronaldo back on the top step again, taking down Patrick. Looks like with a sprint finish there. Pretty close to each other. Clydesdale, Nick got the win. Junior under 19, Marshall. Base 60 plus, Carlos. Junior under 15, Sebastian. Base women, Jennifer. Junior women under 19, Carolyn. Junior under 13, Oliver. Novice men, Dominic. So that was the results. That was the results from Alva this past weekend. Alva's a really fun course with some good Woodda racing. You're going to hear that a little bit later in the episode. All right, like I said, I'm going to have interviews, try to have interviews every week. This week, it was a pleasure of mine to have Mike and Caleb Adam on the show. Hope you liked the interview. Okay, and as promised, father and son duo on Hook, Line, and Shifter with us this week. I have Mike and Caleb Adam. Mike and Caleb both were in the sport category last year at the Florida State Championship Series. Caleb finished third in sport. Mike finished second in the XC1, the XC2 sport category for 50 plus. Currently, both of them race for Leroy's Bike Works. We're going to hear a little bit about that towards the end of the interview. And both have made their upgrade to the highest category that Florida offers for the 25 Florida State Championship Series. Mike is racing XC1 50 plus, and Caleb has thrown his name into the ranks for the elite category. Quite the hard category. So guys, welcome to Hook, Line, and Shifter. I appreciate your time today and coming and hanging out with me.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Caleb?
thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Again, I appreciate both of you being here. We're going to kind of go back and forth in between the two of you. I want to start with the question that Mike, what is it like in your experience as a father to be racing mountain bikes with your son? It's got to be, I don't have any kids, but it's got to be an amazing feeling. How does that make you feel week in and week out, getting to do this sport with number one, such a talented kid like Caleb?
Well, it makes me feel really great. It's great to see how far he's come throughout the years. I mean, I was able to see him progress from riding on training wheels to racing in the lead category. So, and it's quite nice. The past year or so, I took a shift in the household to who was the fastest. So, I mean, we knew that day was coming. So, here it is. Now he's the fastest. So I'm the one that has to do the dishes every week because he beats my time. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's really, really nice to be able to ride with him day in, day out. We were able to train together and be able to spend so much time together on the bike and off the bike.
Right. And for you, Caleb, what's the experience like to being able to look up to your dad and be able to go out and do this with him on a daily and weekly basis and spend the weekends throwing down on your bike? And also get into the details of maybe a little bit later on that Mike, you get the opportunity to start behind Caleb on the starting line. Again, I'll cover the details of that and actually try to chase him down. I don't know if you've ever been successful with it. And Caleb, is that something that's a thought process for you, knowing that your dad starts 2 minutes behind you and is trying to chase you down? So let's start with how is it having a father as a role model for this crazy sport of mountain biking?
It's a great feeling. It's another way to challenge myself and him as well when we're on the bike, chasing each other around and pushing each other.
Mm-hmm. Him
starting 2 minutes behind, it gives him a motivation to try and catch me, as well as me to catch him by trying to lap him.
I didn't even know that was a consideration, but that's a pretty good one too. And for some of you that don't know, some of our race courses are 4 laps long. So if we are, I say we because Mike and I are fortunate to race together. If Dave starts us a little bit behind and it's 2.5 or 3 minutes behind the fast guys, there is sometimes the opportunity that they can actually make their way through the entire course to catch up to us. Caleb, have you ever caught him?
No, I have not. I'm probably like 20 minutes behind him, but still.
I still like the concept of wanting to chase him down. And Mike, the thought process of not getting caught by your young talented son has got to be a driver for you also.
Oh, it most definitely is. That's not to say that our house is not competitive at all. But it is definitely a motivation to keep going and driving on the bike. Right now, I would just like to be able to match his lap times. That would be a great goal for me.
I did a little bit of research with regards to the lap times, and Caleb, you're absolutely flying out there. This past weekend, we were over in Caloosahatchee or Alva with Caloosahatchee Regional Park. This particular race, it winds up being a 2.5 lap race. We have 2 long laps, about 10 miles each, and then a half lap that's about 5 miles, maybe just under 5 miles. 2 years ago, or last season, we had the opportunity, the older XC1 class, we had the opportunity to vote on the line. We voted on the line to be able to do 2.5 laps, and it stuck for this year. So, Mike, last year you didn't have the opportunity to do 2.5 laps because you were in the sport category and it was two full laps. This year you lined up with the opportunity to do that full 2.5 laps. We didn't get a chance to vote on the line about it, but for some reason Dave just stuck with what we did last year, and we had to do the full 2.5 laps. Caleb, you had to do the full 2.5 laps also. Mike, what was that experience like, being in XC1 with the 50 plus and having to line up to do the 2.5 laps, because you've never done 2.5 laps there before on race day?
No, it was really nice to be able to go and feel and race like what the same distance as the elites did. That way I at the end of the day, I could compare my lap time to even Caleb's, and it would be even numbers and numbers because they always had that extra lap. I knew they had to pace themselves a little bit more to see, and I didn't. We would always, always had to do 3 laps compared to their 4. Caught me by surprise when Dave told me that on the limes. I didn't quite have all my nutrition dialed for the extra. Half lap wasn't a lot of time, but it kind of mentally threw me through a little bit of a loop, thinking I didn't have enough nutrition for the whole race. So I was a little bit worried about that. But at the end of the day, it felt good. I was able to hold back a little bit on the consuming my nutrition to keep me running through the extra 20 to 22 minutes of that lap, or that I did. So yeah, it was a really nice experience, and truthfully, I kind of enjoyed the extra distance.
I think that's one of the things for the older athletes that we do enjoy the distance. Having said all that, Caleb, let's get into what your race experience was this weekend. And I'm gonna tie back a little bit of the endurance racing, because I first became familiar with you at one of the FLEs back in the beginning of the year. And I think it was Brooksville, right? Where I got a chance to ride with you for a while.
I think so. Out in what is Chrome?
Yeah, in Chrome, exactly. We had a great chance to ride in the endurance, and I was super impressed with your abilities that day. But tell me how your experience was this weekend, or this past weekend, over in Lakeland.
It was a great experience. It was definitely challenging because it's more of just flat and constant power in a lot of sections, but you have to be careful in the corners.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I referred to, and I spoke a little bit to Ryan about it after the race, is that in that park, it's a very flat park, and for the sake of argument, there's 9,000 corners that we have to try and deal with, but they're kind of dust over hard pack. The issue with this particular park is that if the speed limit is 14 miles an hour around the corner, that means it's 14. It's not 14.1, it's not 14.2, it's 14. You take the chance of trying to go 14.1, and for the most part, it's probably not that successful. You might not go down, but you wind up over braking, and then you have to accelerate out from your over braking, and then deal with the other 8,999 corners that you have to go around. Caleb, I had the privilege of being because the race was longer, being that your dad and I had to do the 2.5 laps, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to catch up to you. When I caught up to you, man, I had such a grin on my face. I was completely enjoying trying to chase you down. And we talked about it a little bit after the race. I couldn't do it. I saw you off in the distance. It was, I don't know, 5 seconds, 7 seconds in front of me. And I gave everything I had, and next thing I know, it's 5 or 7 seconds in front of me until I finally had the ability to close in on you. And I think it just came because of one of the straightaways that I have a little bit more strength than you. But in the trail, man, I could not close. Mike, when the two of you have the opportunity to ride inside the trail, and it's very highly skill-based, do you have about the same skill as Caleb, or Caleb, do you have a better skill? I would think when it comes to laying down watts, I would think, Mike, that you're probably have a little bit more at this point. Caleb, not that you're not going to be able to develop into those watts, but at your age and being relatively new to this, because this is your rookie year in the elite category, Mike, what is that experience like, having the two of you on, let's say, training rides out with fire roads as opposed to single track?
The fire roads, believe it or not, yeah, Caleb has a lot more power to weight ratio than I do.
Okay.
He can put down a lot of power in the flats. When it comes to the trails, he's been mimicking me and following behind me and learning off of me, but I still have a little bit more of a technical advantage over him. He's able to make it up with the extra power to weight that he has over me on the trails. So at the end of the day, the time has come in our household where I have to pass the torch to him. He can beat me on everything anymore.
I don't think there's anything the matter with passing that torch. Caleb, how do you feel about trying to whoop up on your dad every time you go out?
It's kind of a fun challenge because we're equally skilled in many areas. I can get him in the flats sometimes, or he may get me in the flats. It just depends on our day. It's definitely a fun challenge.
I have you'll see the video that I took on Saturday with Mike and Caleb out at Alva, and there's one I breezed through the video a little bit last night, and there's actually one really good one with the two of you jumping around me, and then there's another one with Caleb with you railing the hell out of a corner. I was even looking at it like, man, I got something that I can learn from him. This question goes out to both of you. Caleb, I'll start with you. This is your rookie year. This is your rookie year of lining up in the elite category. The elite category for the Florida State Championship Series is a 19 to 49-year-old category, but you are scored within your respective category. In your case, 19 to 39 and then 40 to 49. The guys in that class are, in some cases, are multi-Florida State champions, veterans in that class. Caleb, what is it like, or what were your nerves like lining up with them? And let's go back to Tallahassee. First round in Tallahassee, we had a time trial on Saturday and then the cross country on Sunday. I'm not so concerned about the time trial because it's just you against the race course. But on Sunday, when you have to line up and you have to go down that hill with, I don't know, Tallahassee, I think you guys had 24 or 26 people on the starting line. What were the nerves like on that day? And then, Mike, it's going to be the same question for you, so you gather your thoughts for a minute. Go ahead, Caleb.
It was definitely very nerve-wracking sitting there, all the possibilities of what's going to happen this season and if the training has paid off.
Okay. You, I don't know, I didn't get a chance to look at how you finished in Tallahassee. Do you recall how you finished there?
I don't. I know the points because we went over the points last night.
Okay. And I saw in the following weekend we were over in Jacksonville. You had a really good Jacksonville. What do you attribute that to?
Possibly skill-based, because that was definitely a lot of cornering and just ducking through trees.
What is your primary park for training?
Caloosahatchee Park, or as we call it, Carter Road.
Okay. In my last episode, I referred to it as Carter Road because that's what back in the day we referred to it as. Some people call it Lakeland, some call it Caloosahatchee Park, but I'm old school, and maybe like you, Mike, it's always been Carter Road to me. Mike, same question for you. You came up from the sport category, XC2 in the 50 plus, and had to come into or elected to come into XC1 based on your finish last year. Since you finished second in the series, you're in a way you're kind of forced to move up. So now you have to move up, and you get to experience that XC1 50 plus category. What was that experience like for you in Tallahassee?
I was nervous, but at the same time, it was very calming. I'm nervous because of the speed that you guys carry, or now that I'm in the class that we all carry. Nervous on how I'd stack up with everybody and in the rankings. Calming because the crowd. Not a lot of people want to move up into that category. They either drop out or find a way to stay into the sport class. So there's a lot less people to contend with. And when you're lining up with 20 people on the line versus 7, 8, or 10, it's a lot more calming when you can look and there's only one line deep. And you're not going to have a lot of elbows and a lot of pushing and jockeying for position, people rubbing your wheels. To me, I was a little excited that we were going to have a clean start and then just kind of get into the woods and see where I fell in and take it from there.
Why do you think there is an issue with people coming out of sport into the expert category?
I do not know. Maybe because they know that the expert category, a lot of people have been in there and they're very strong. A lot of them are out to get just a championship instead of just challenging themselves against their competition. Some people, if they're not going to see or have any chance at a first place finish, then they don't want to even go in and try. So that's where you get a lot of people that just fall off. And it was the same thing coming out of base. There was quite a few people who come out of base and then they they just try to stay there as long as they can, get up into sport. I've seen, over the years, a couple people come into sport, do one or two races, and they fall off because they know that they don't have any chance of possibly pulling a championship, a podium, or first place.
Mm-hmm. When you, aside from your finish in 24, having to move up in 25, what was your driving thought to saying, hey, I want to go up and race with the fast old guys?
Well, I mean, we do this for our fitness and to push ourselves to the next level. And, so you got to race and ride with the people at that next level to get to that next level. So, I was pretty excited to move up.
Okay. And Caleb, you had, like you said, in Tallahassee, a bunch of nerves on that starting line. I've referred a few times that those nerves generally only last maybe the first 3 to maybe 5 minutes. On that day in Tallahassee, after we crossed over the creek, you had to turn onto the fire road and then climb up to the top of the Cadillac Trail. There's a question that I ask guys like you that are moving up. What was your let's call it your welcome to mountain bike moment, or welcome to the elite category moment? And Mike, I'm gonna have the same question for you. So Caleb, what was your welcome to the class moment? And it's what I'm getting at is it's some sort of experience that you had of like, oh my God, this is the reality of this class. What was your welcome to the elite category moment?
After we got across the creek and we started climbing our way through, and we had to just barely hanging on, passing people, and it was just like, okay. And I see Ryan Woodall slowly taken away, and I'm like, well, there he goes.
So it was that constant lay down of power, and if I'm assuming the speed that going up that first the double track to the top of the Cadillac Trail, that was your welcome to the class moment?
Yeah.
Okay. And Mike, for you, have you had your welcome to the XC1 or the Masters category?
Yes, I have. And it was actually the first race, going up the climb to the Cadillac Trail. I remember we were just putting down mass amount of power. I was thinking, wow, this is really, really hard. Trent went out in the front and he started to drive the pace. You started to pick up on the pace with him, and then you come around him right before we got to the top. I got caught in a little bit of traffic. And just as usually most all the other races, but coming out of the sport and the base class, as soon as you put out that much power and you get into the single track, it's time to recover for a second. Nope, that was not the case. There was no recovery time at all. It was pedal to the metal the entire time. And again, I got a little behind on some traffic. I couldn't make a pass once you get into Cadillac. And when I did make the pass, I'm like, all right, I'm going to put down some power and I'm going to get them back in my sights. And I didn't see you guys until the podium.
With respect to Tallahassee, my career started there. So that Cadillac Trail, that Cadillac descent, and I probably have gone down that thing 1,000 times in my career, starting back in 1995. So I'm quite familiar with that descent. But it sounds like it's kind of the normal thing as you move up in category, that experience of the pace is fast, and for the top guys, that pace stays pretty fast. Mike, how long have you been cycling for, and then how long mountain biking?
Cycling has always been mountain biking. My first ride was on a mountain bike. And that was 19 years ago when that happened, because it was right before Caleb was born. Charlotte, my wife, she was pregnant with Caleb when she introduced me into mountain biking. I never even knew it was a thing until she's always been adventurous. She's always the one who's been led us on all of our adventures. And she told me about this, and I was like, there's no such things. There's no mountains in Florida.
Right.
And I borrowed a bike from a friend, and we went to Alify, and here I am. It was just hooked me the whole time.
And what kind of bike was it
that I borrowed? It was a Walmart bike.
Okay. And then what was your first mountain bike?
It was a Gary Fisher Mamba. I bought that
26, right?
Yep, it was a 26. Yep,
okay.
29 weren't even out yet. They didn't come out for a few years after I started cycling. That 29 came into the cycling world.
Hardtail?
Of course.
Nice. Caleb, how long have you been into mountain biking? And I'm assuming your career started directly into mountain biking?
Yeah. I've
How long
been
ago?
I started around when I was probably around 3 or 4 years old. So that was about 14, 15 years ago.
Okay. And so what was your first mountain bike?
I think my first mountain bike was a hardtail 29-inch niner.
I see you shake your head, Mike. A 29 hardtail. Do you remember what kind of bike it was, Caleb?
I think it was a niner. My dad could probably correct me on that.
Mike, what was it?
Oh, his very first bike was a 16-inch Hot Rock Specialized.
Wow,
Was his
okay.
very first bike. And he barely could fit on that thing. We could put him up on there and we would push him around. Then after that, he went to another Specialized. We got him moved him up to a 20-inch, then a 24, and then going on. But the bike that he's familiar with and that he's talking about is a 1.9 RDO hardtail niner.
Okay.
That was his first one that he started really remembering and competing in. The other bikes are just kind of things of the past that we always did because it was we were hooked into it, and he always went to the races with us and stuff. So he, that's what he got, was the small bikes, what he fit into.
Okay. Caleb, what do you think you attribute your skill set to? Why are you so good at single track?
I would say probably for my dad, following him through the trails and just trying to keep up with him at that
Okay.
time.
Okay. And then Mike, why are you so good at single track? Do you have any BMX or anything like that in your background as a kid?
I do not. The only background I ever had was skateboarding, and I really think, to me, I think like riding bulls and half pipes and learning how to pump and push through the curves of it helps you undulate and move through the trails as well, using all the features to kind of give you that extra momentum. And so when I first got into it, being an adrenaline junkie, of course, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then I start to see all the trail features as I did when I used to skate. Instead of being a root ball, I just seen a little hump that you could just easily kind of pull your front wheel and just kind of push down and just pump off of it and gain your momentum. So him following me through the trails is probably where he's picked up a lot of that. But you can see a lot of that when you're riding behind somebody, if they have that mindset to see what they can generate extra momentum through the trails just by using trail features.
Caleb, do you think you or did your dad try to break the trail apart and communicate to you certain things, or was it more just you spent so much time following him through the trail and just studying what it is that it's doing and you just wanted to apply it, or was there conversations and stopping in sections? How did you learn?
It was a bit of both. We did talk about it on the trails and to learn to show different techniques. Then we would probably start riding again, and I can see how those techniques are applied.
Okay. And has roles been reversed at all, Mike? Are you still trying to teach him, or Caleb, are you now trying to show your dad how to navigate the trail?
I'll take this lead on this one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm learning a little bit more from him because he is riding with the elite class, and they are taking corners quite fast. He told me he's like faster than we're used to. So he's starting to develop a little bit more speed going into the corners and coming out of the corners. But as far as using the trail features, he still doesn't like to leave the ground. So therefore, I'm able to gain advantages on that.
Okay. Caleb, why don't you like to leave the ground, man? There's no resistance when you're in the air. Why can't we get you off the ground?
I can go off the ground. Just no, I don't like doing like the gap jumps and things like that.
I got you. They're no fun if you get hurt. Mike, any injuries in your career, in your mountain bike career?
Yes, of course.
What has
I've
happened?
had a broken rib, a couple separated shoulders. I have ripped my bicep tendon and my rotator cuff 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago, and at Amelia, I went down over a pedal strike, and that was my worst one there when I ripped my rotator cuff and my bicep tendon, required surgery, most painful surgery that I've ever had,
Wow.
or any recovery that I've ever been through. Many fingers, feet, there's lots of bumps, bruises, cuts, scars, stitches. Yes.
Okay. And Caleb, how about you? Caleb,
I
how about
have
you? Any issue?
got a couple sprained wrists and things like that, but the only broken bones was an elbow out at Santos, just riding through, and my front tire did like a jackknife, and I flipped over.
Was it during one of the races or just training?
Just riding. We're just riding through the trails, and it just happened.
Really? For me, those accidents come when there's a momentary lapse in focus. That's the way I call it. Every accident that I've ever had, it's just been a thought. 1 minute I'm thinking, oh, I wonder what I'm gonna have for dinner. And then next thing you know, that's it, man. You wind up losing the front, losing the back, something, clipping a tree. It's kind of one of the reasons why I think I like the sport so much, is that it does require a tremendous amount of focus. Okay, have either of you competed outside of the state of Florida?
Yeah.
I have once.
Caleb?
Yep.
Go ahead, Caleb.
So me and my dad have both raced at McAllen, which is probably what he's about to mention, out in Georgia, the GSC race series Bygone Riding.
Okay. That's the one you were talking about, Mike?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the only one I've competed, but Caleb's done many gravel races out throughout that, outside of biking.
Caleb, where in your ranking of mountain biking versus gravel, which do you like better?
Both have their challenges and fun. Like mountain biking, you get a lot more covering the trails, whereas gravel is a lot more just constantly going until you're done. And so I like both. I like the scenery that gravel provides and how far you can go. So
Okay.
they're kind of equal.
You guys have gravel where you live?
Not really. It's mixed terrain. We will nothing like you guys have down south.
Okay.
We have a few preserves and stuff that we'll ride the roads to get there. We have Green Swamp that's about a 40-minute drive from here. But when we get out there, we have a lot of gravel out of Green Swamp that we can ride. So that's where we do most of our gravel riding. Is we'll make the trip out to Green Swamp and put our time in out there.
Okay. Caleb, what is your goals in this sport?
Just to improve fitness and to increase strength. Just also have to have fun out there.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one, man. I appreciate you bringing that one to a head, that you want to have fun out there. I think one of the main things, because the sport it's not easy. I say the same thing every week on my show. It doesn't get any easier. You just get faster. Having fun, without a doubt, is the key, because the pain and suffering, if you ain't having fun, that pain and suffering is going to take over your brain pretty quick. For you, Mike, what is your goals in the sport?
Keep going as long as I can.
Keep trying to not get caught by your son?
Yep, as long as I can. I've never really thought about the goals. I just, we like to go out there. It keeps our fitness up, and it gives you a reason to stay fit, the training for the racing. We do like to go other places and ride. We do want to do a stage race. It's been on our radar for quite a while.
Okay.
It keeps coming in and out, though, just because life events in the way. This year, the one we wanted to do was a Transylvania Epic, but it falls right on Caleb's graduation weekend, so that one's going to get pushed to the back burner again. So we're thinking about possibly doing the Pisgah one.
Okay.
That there will probably end up doing. So we're looking at getting into doing some more longer series races, like 3-day, 5-day stage races. As that's the goal, is just to keep going and going until we can no longer go anymore.
Nice. That TSE and Pisgah stage race are both really good ones. I would recommend the Pisgah one before going all the way up to Pennsylvania for TSE, even though it's a great event. the timing of the year, the time of the year, the weather, the conditions, it's kind of questionable. For Pisgah, I've also heard it's the same thing there. You never really know what you're going to get. Caleb, we started off this interview today, and I was talking about XC racing versus XCM racing. And like I said, I became first familiar with you in Brooksville for the endurance race there. For a younger guy like yourself, a younger athlete, endurance racing is a little bit more challenging to try and do, but yet I was so impressed with your abilities that day. What do you attribute the fact that you, in my eyes, I think you're pretty good at this marathon racing. Why do you think that is?
Why it is that I can be able to do things like that?
Yeah, like what do you think why as a like a 90-minute cross country race as opposed to a 4-hour endurance race? I think you're pretty good at those endurance races. Why do you think that is?
Possibly due to determination. I have not quit on a race probably in a long time. I might have when I was young, but for what I know, I have not. I just know I need to finish.
You put a smile on my face with that one, and I'm sure Mike, that one puts a smile on your face too. There's a saying that we use that it's the hardest quit is the first one. After that, everything else falls in. Everything else doesn't become that hard to do. Follow your heart on that one. Just because you're inconvenienced, just because your legs hurt, just because you're tired. Sorry, man, that ain't a reason. That ain't a reason to quit. This sport, you gotta deal with it. Man, I love that. You just made my day with that one. Mike, do you agree? Do you think have you been an influence to that? We're not going to give up, or have you been an influence to him being this good for longer racing?
Oh yeah, for the most part, I do have a saying that I tell him, and then even like a lot of my teammates, like, yep, it hurts and you're suffering, but if you look around, everybody else feels the same way you do. The one who suffers the best is usually the one who wins.
Exactly. That's man, this is a good one right here. You mentioned teammates. You guys both race for Leroy's Bike Works. Tell us a little bit about that, your team, and a little bit about that shop.
Well, the team is a lot of them we've actually have come from like NICA. A lot of the athletes, and now we have some of their parents as well from when we were doing the NICA series. Caleb races the NICA series, and then my youngest son does too, and I help coach it. And through there, a lot of them, they started to get pretty excited about what that series had to offer. And I was like, hey, there is another series out there that actually we can race the options and race stuff that they're obligated to skip, or they have to skip because of the NICA rules. So we probably we got a team together maybe about, I think, 4 seasons ago. We did have one many seasons ago, but we all took a break to do a bunch of travel riding and checking out other places where we could mountain bike. But yep, so 4 years ago, we got everybody on and we formed that team. And then from there, we have just been picking more people up that have been coming on and racing with us. They like, just the camaraderie that we have underneath the tent, because it is at the end of the day, this is a bill. It's not paying bills. There's no reason to be out there and to be a jerk about anything. Let's go out, have fun, enjoy it, and do the best that we can do. A lot of people like that camaraderie that we bring onto the tent, so they've been coming onto the team. And a lot of the Nike athletes have actually grown and graduated and moved on to college. Some of their parents are racing on the team now. The kids aren't there anymore. It's a really great shop. In our shop, we do have a nice little community. We have a nice social ride every Thursday night. We ride at night that bring in a lot of people. So we get a lot of people that come in and would like to be part of. And we're not just going to shut the door on them. Like, please come and join us. It's like a family.
I definitely noticed from being around that the presence of Leroy's has really come to fruition over the last couple of years. Every year it seems to get the tent seems to get bigger, the number of people underneath it gets there's more underneath it, and there's more jerseys out on the race course. Caleb, who is your, aside from your dad, do you have any really good training partners?
I don't have many. The only other one I have like ridden with sometimes that is just about who's racing with me is Ashton Newman. I
Okay.
have rode with him a few times this year and kind of just push each other around the trails.
Nice. Okay. And Mike, do you have any training partners?
I do. Besides Caleb, I have a good friend of mine, Anton Correa. He's racing in the sport class, the 50 plus sport class. So he has a really, really good skill set. He's still, developing his motor. He just started racing, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Last year was his first year racing, and then not even 2 years, and then this year. So he's developing his motor, but his skill set is really nice. And when it comes to skills and handling, him and I were pretty equal on that part, but I've been racing a little bit longer than he has, so I have a little bit motor than he does. And then really, our Thursday night group, our A group, is pretty much everybody is training and out there riding together. Sometimes it's very casual. We go out there and we just try to keep a steady pace, but sometimes it gets pretty darn spicy and people are on the limit the whole time.
Nice. Good training partners. I'll say it's on blue in the face, man. That's one of the key things is to find yourself some really good training partners and accountability partners. On Saturday, I had an amazing opportunity to talk to the two of y'all and then go out and shoot some video. And very very kind of you to bring up this topic and giving us the ability to talk about it. And for the people out there, for the viewers out there and the ones that are listening to this, I want to get educated as much as we can on this topic. Come to find out on Saturday that Caleb has CF, cystic fibrosis. Didn't have any clue. From what I heard from Mike, you guys stayed pretty quiet about this disease. Caleb, tell us a little bit about this. Educate me, the viewers and the listeners about this. What exactly is it?
The CF or cystic fibrosis, as you mentioned, is a genetic disorder that can affect the lungs and airways of a person, as in me. Some symptoms of it can be like vitamin deficiency, lower bone density, similar things like that.
Okay. Mike, what else is there, or what other topics about it is Caleb not necessarily sharing?
It does, the primary one is the pulmonary function of CF.
Okay.
Cystic fibrosis, they develop a really thick mucus that will impact in their lungs, and it actually kind of turns into concrete. It's a different mucus that you or I produce. You just can't expel it. You can't cough it up and get rid of it. So it gets in there and it starts to just essentially turns into concrete in your lungs. And as the years go on, more and more builds up. If you're not active, they have a bunch of treatments. There's pulmonary. He has breathing treatments he has to do a couple times a day, and he has a pneumatic vest that actually kind of beats on his chest to kind of loosen up everything and get it out.
Okay.
So that there is the number one cause and one of the downfalls of the cystic fibrosis. But then it also does that mucus also gets in the pancreas and in the liver as well. So when it comes to breaking down food and digesting enzymes and stuff like that, that's where they have there's deficiency. They have to take a lot of enzymes and vitamins and just to kind of produce their food. So the best way the doctor described it for me, pretty much for every, say, 500 calories that Caleb eats, his body may only absorb 250 to 300 of them.
Okay.
So that's where the being him at it's a long distance rider is extremely challenging. big challenge to him, to us as a family, to keep his nutrition up. Because when you're on the bike, it's hard to get nutrition. And when your body is wanting to reject it and doesn't want to absorb it, it makes it even more difficult. So for him, his body to be able to do what he's able to do, it's absolutely, I find it's phenomenal. The doctors find it phenomenal. Caleb doesn't, he's very shy about it, but all of us that know about it and have talked about it, we think he's actually broken the mold on some of it. His lung function is extremely high. His doctors says this mountain biking is one of the best things that he could have ever done in his life. That's what keeps him going, gets him going where he is, the drive that he does. To the fact that, she's trying to his doctor is trying to get a lot of other patients to try to take on cycling or mountain biking. It's not only just using his lungs all the time, exercising them, but also the vibration and all the jarring in the trails helps keep all of that mucus from building up in his lungs. So I really feel like this was just fine discovering mountain biking. My wife, it's been a blessing in disguise.
Wow, very interesting. Caleb, can you describe to us, how do you, with CF, when you're out riding your mountain bike or racing your mountain bike and you're pushing to the levels, what is the, I don't know how to say, what is the restrictor, or what is it that you're feeling when you're on the bike that could be holding you back? What is tell me about that experience of having this while racing your bike.
So I don't really see a restriction. I don't know the difference between the two. One thing I've researched before, because I was doing assignments, was there could be a lower, oxygen absorption in the blood. And that could be a reason why I get more tired, but I still push through it and I'm able to get by it without much effect to me. The only time I can notice was when I was doing high altitude riding for a race we're doing. It was steamboat gravel. That's when I noticed it a lot more than down here at sea level.
It's so, for those of you out there that are actually really listening to this, man, you should be so inspired by what Caleb is doing right now. I'm inspired by it. I want to get out there and push. And the second you think you're tired, or the second you think something's hurting, put Caleb into your head, man. Good God, Caleb, I'm so impressed with your abilities. And then Mike, you too, for keeping him focused and driving him into the sport like you have. So thank you both of you for sharing that experience of having CF. Like I said on Saturday, I had no idea until you shared the story. And Caleb chasing you around the trail, I wouldn't have thought that there's anything wrong. Yet in the back of your head, you're fighting this disease. So thank you for that amazing story. Do either of you have a coach, or are you self-coached?
We're self-coached.
Okay. All right, let me hit you with some closing questions. Mike, we're going to start with you, and then Caleb, you're going to follow up with the same answer to the question. Mike, what kind of bike do you ride?
A Lee Coogan.
A what?
Lee Coogan.
Okay, I've never heard of that. What's that brand?
Lee Coogan. It's an Italian brand that comes there. They used to be in the United States a long time ago, and they pulled out. Now they're just starting to come back into. They're from the Stardew group. If you've heard of, they also have the gravel group bikes Basso as well.
Oh, okay.
So you should start to see them starting to come around. They're all handmade in Italy.
I was looking when we were waiting to line up on Sunday. I was actually looking over at your bike, trying to figure it out, and I couldn't. I couldn't figure it out. So thanks for sharing that one. Caleb, what do you ride?
I ride the same thing as he does. I ride a Lake Coogan. I think it's called Trailfire.
Crossfire Trail.
Crossfire Trail. Well, it's close.
Yes.
And both of these are full suspension, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what kind of travel in the rear?
120.
Okay. Nice. And then you're running a 120 fork on there also, correct? Keeping the bike balanced?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kind of tire pressure, Mike, front and rear?
Depending on the course, this past weekend, I ran 20 in the rear and 17 and a half in the front.
17 and a half. Nice breakdown. Caleb.
I think I run around 16 and a half to 17 in the front, and I run about, 18 and a half to 19 in the rear.
Okay, you guys are on 225, 235, or 24 tires?
2-4.
24. Caleb, 24?
Yes.
Front and rear?
Yes.
All right. Good one. How many hours a week do you train, Mike?
Off season, getting ready for it, probably about 10 to 11 is
Okay.
hours we put into the bike, on the bike, not including any strength training that would go involved into it.
Okay, Caleb, same for you? Same hours?
Yeah, similar hours since we ride a lot together and do a lot of similar training.
Okay. You guys both use Training Peaks or no?
No, we use Trainer Road.
Trainer Ed? Okay. But all your data isn't stored up on Training Peaks?
No, it's not.
Okay.
We just it's through Trainer Road and through Strava and then our Garmin's as well. So kind of
Okay.
developed a little bit of a system. Trainer Road will actually lay it out for you, and then it's pretty much a plug and play training program, and then we will just adjust the hours and what we want to do, our workouts to fit what we're doing that week.
Okay. How many miles do you think you do in a week on a good week? How many miles would you put in?
150, around 150.
Oh, nice. That's actually a really good number. What's your favorite park, Caleb?
I like our local park as well. I also like Santos trail system because you can have any type of technical skill or power base you want.
Of the three Santos, which one do you think is your favorite? The Trailhead, Vortex, or Landbridge?
The Vortex is a pretty fun section to ride in.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. Caleb, do you have any favorite athlete or somebody that's been a role model? And don't say your dad. I want to go. I know it's your dad, but let's go one step further than that. Is there any favorite athlete or somebody that you look up to?
There's not really much of one. I do look up to some people because of how fast they're going through the trails. Like, let's say Ryan Woodall or you, because how fast you guys are moving through the trails.
Well, thank you. I agree. I agree with Ryan Woodall, and he's my. I've had to spend so many years racing him, and super talented and very, very humble. That's one of the key things. If there's something that you want to take in your career and going further, be fast, show it on the race course, but be humble. How does anybody follow the two of you? Meaning, what's your handles you have in Strava, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that? Mike, how does one follow you guys?
We're not much in the social media.
Okay.
Strava is probably the best way to follow us, and I'd just be under my name, Mike Adam, out of Lakeland,
Okay.
Florida. I mean, I do have Facebook, but don't do that a lot. And then I do have Instagram. I think last time I posted on Instagram was a year and a half ago. So we don't have a lot of time in our household to do a lot of social media. We're very busy between the shop and the volunteering and the cycling and the racing and everything else. So I was talking today to somebody earlier. It was like our TV hasn't even been on in over 3 weeks. So we're always on the go. So we don't have a whole lot of time to do a lot of social media and tagging and hashtagging and so forth. So yes, Strava. If you wanted to follow me, that'd probably be the best way.
Okay.
That's something that I see on a regular basis.
Listen, I've taken way too much of your all's time today. I greatly appreciate you coming on using your valuable time to come on my show today. Next week, we're off because it's Thanksgiving. The following weekend, we're down here at Amelia for our Coconut Cup Series, but it winds up being a makeup to the Florida State Championship Series. We have a time trial on Saturday and the cross country on Sunday. Mike, I talked to you a little bit after the race, asked you if you're going to come down for it. You said, yeah, you're going to the wife wants to kick you out of the house and you got to have a boys' weekend with you and Caleb. You might make it down for the time trial on Saturday, but the cross country on Sunday looks like we're going to have some beautiful weather. an amazing course. You said you like that course. Caleb, do you like Amelia?
Yeah, it's a really fun course, very flow, a lot of flow in there.
Yeah, it's a great place. So I look forward to seeing both of you guys. Number one, have a great Thanksgiving, but I look forward to seeing both of you down at Amelia for the Florida State Makeup Series. Mike, I look forward to lining up with you again, seeing what you got. And Caleb, I look forward to chasing you down. We unfortunately, you're going to have 4 laps to do it. I'm only going to have 3 laps to do it, so I lose out on that opportunity. I don't think I'm going to, based on my experience with you this weekend and how fast you are, I don't think I'm going to have the ability to catch you at Amelia, but I'm going to try. Listen, guys, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate you coming on Hook, Line, and Shifter. Mike, thank you so much. Caleb, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be well, both of you.
Thank you.
What a good interview with Mike and Caleb. I learned so much about them working on Saturday, getting a chance to give a pre-interview, talk to them, get a chance to actually ride with them. Fortunate that I get to race with Mike on a regular basis, and I don't get a chance to race with Caleb on the Florida State Championship Series, but in the FLE, in the Endurance Series, I've had the opportunity to compete directly against him, and I'll tell you what, man, super talented kid. I think I said it a few times in the interview. But anyways, I hope you liked that interview with the two of them. Pre-ride video in Alva this weekend. Like I said, the course was about 10 miles long. I have the pre-ride video. I'm gonna put the pre-ride a little bit in fast forward. I'm gonna speed it up just a hair. Because the trail is a little bit on the long side, like I said, with a lot of turns. In the interview, I was joking with Mike, and Caleb said that there was 9,000 turns. It's obviously not 9,000 turns, but from the number that I heard, I think it's somewhere between 300 and 400 corners that we have to go through. Biggest mistake that people make at Alva is overriding the course, over accelerating, which requires over braking, and back to over accelerating. Those things are going to wear you out there. You want to try and flow through the corners. Use your corner speed. Try and stay off the brakes within the corners. I'm not saying stay off the brakes all the time, because the nature of the course, you're going to have to get on the brakes, but you got to pick and choose exactly where and when you are going to do it. So Alva wound up being an amazing weekend, definitely on the dry and dusty side, which leads me right into woulda racing. Woulda racing is a simple term. I woulda done better if. I woulda done better if. Last week, when we were at San Falasco, I had 10 woulda racings. This week, guess what? We got ourselves another 10. Again, these aren't said directly to me, or maybe they are said directly to me, but I just do a good job of listening to the conversations that go through the pits after these races are over. So we got 10 of them in no particular order. Let's get into this. It was too dusty. Too many corners. 300 to 400 corners. Yep, a lot of corners. Too dusty. Too many corners. It was too hot. Yes. The final week of November, it does get hot down here in South Florida. It was too hot. I crashed in a hole that I didn't see. Crashed in a hole I didn't see. I finished all my fluids too early. Number 5, too loose in the corners. Number 4, I don't like Alva. This is actually a pretty common one. I don't like Alva. I don't like Markham. I don't like San Falasco. I don't like the Vortex. I don't like Trailhead. I don't like Tom Brown. It's good. It's good to know. So you don't like Alva. Number 3, I'm training for endurance season. Means I'm done with cross country, training for endurance season. That's the reason you didn't do that good. This one could be a little bit valid. Wrong tire choice. Had the wrong tire choice. This park requires a good rolling tire, very low profile knobs based on the conditions that we were racing in. Very sandy over top of hard pack. Very aggressive knobs isn't going to cut it for you. So we got wrong tire choice. Number one woulda racing from Alva, Caloosahatchee Regional Park. I had the wrong tire pressure. The wrong tire pressure. I've said in my interviews before, as well as the people that I put on the show, you can hear the numbers that they say. Generally speaking, 14 to 17 is the number. 2.4 tires, 2.35, depending upon the manufacturer that you use. 2.4, 14 to 17 PSI is the tire pressure that you're going to want to use. So we got too dusty, too many corners, too hot. I crashed in a hole I didn't see. Finished all my fluids too early. Too loose in the turns. I don't like Alva. I'm training for endurance season. Wrong tire choice and wrong tire pressure. Own the process. Own the results. If you got beat, congratulate the person that beat you. Stay quiet. Go home. Regroup. Continue to train. You don't train today to be fast tomorrow. It's the nature of this sport. You train hard today to maybe be a little bit better in a week. You train tomorrow to maybe be a little bit better in the following week. It is relentless and you got to stick with it. What do we have coming up? This weekend, we are off, Thanksgiving weekend. And then the following weekend, we are at Amelia Earhart Park down in Hialeah for Coconut Cup Series Round 4. It is also a Florida State makeup race. So Saturday, we have a time trial. Sunday, the cross country. In the cross country, what can you expect for Amelia? It's probably going to be a little bit dry, a little bit on the dusty side. We haven't had a whole lot of rain down here. As a matter of fact, we haven't had any rain down here. But the trail guys do a great job down there of making the park roll. Experts are going to have to do 4 laps. Everybody else, it's going to be 3. Sport's going to be 3. And then the base riders are going to be 2. Lap times there are actually pretty quick. The experts, the fastest experts, are probably going to hover around 25 to 26 minutes. The point of the makeup for the Florida State makeup is in the event that you have a bad race, you come down to Amelia for the Coconut Cup race and you can hopefully do better than you did in the Florida State race, and you're able to transfer those points into the series for the overall. Keeping in mind, the following weekend after that, we're back up in Santos for the final round 8 of the Florida State series. The final counts. The final counts. You get 0 points in the final, 0 points get added into your total. The final counts. As far as calculations, Monday or Tuesday after Amelia, we'll be able to get a good calculation. I'll go over it in the show that day, where the overall stands, and we'll look forward to see what kind of battles we wind up having at Santos for the final. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for watching my janky show here. Thank you to Mike and Caleb for coming on. Hopefully you learned a lot about the two of them. And Caleb, the CF that he's dealing with on a daily basis. When you think you're tired, when you think you're sore, when you think you don't want to get up, think about this guy. He's going out and doing and having to live with that disease every day of his life. So great job, Caleb, and thank you, Mike, for coming on the show. Once again, Orcus Technologies, ESI Grips, U-Cycling, MASH Mobile Vet, POC Helmets, NV Wheels, Pirelli Tires, and Absolute Black. Don't forget about my discount code HLS2025 to get yourself 20% off site-wide at those select websites. I was your host, Bob McCarty. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Cherish your family and friends. Enjoy that morning. Get those miles in Thursday morning. Makes you appreciate the food much better that afternoon. Have another great training week, and we'll see you all down at Amelia.